Year-end financial planning is one of the most critical things that you'll do in a nonprofit organization. So as we approach the end of the calendar year, I want to give some encouragement today to board members and executive directors to give you some specific things you can do to take time to focus on your financial situation and be prepared for the upcoming year. Hi, I'm Teresa Clark, and I'm a CPA with over 25 years worth of experience serving 501c3 nonprofits. I've worked inside the organization as the CFO, and I've also worked external to the organization as a nonprofit auditor. So my mission is to help nonprofits answer money questions so that they can achieve strength, financial strength, and accomplish their mission. So you can think of me as like a strategic partner to help you master the money. If you'd like to have more resources, you can visit my website, teresaclark.com. As a seasoned nonprofit CFO, I've seen many organizations struggle with what to do at the year end. So this conversation is going to assume you have a calendar year end, although most nonprofits do not. So the same principles apply, just adjust the timing based on when your fiscal year end is. So the first thing is I want to remind you, this is a great moment to review your budget. Mostly you want to be looking at what were the revenues and expenses for the year? What's the net income? Was it income or was it a loss? You also want to look at things that were over budget, revenue or expenses, and things that were under budget. You want to look at those things and see, is there something here? Is there a trend? Is there an alarm going off? Is there an opportunity being missed so that you can adjust your budget for the new year? The second step is you want to evaluate your ending net asset balances. So when you review the balance sheet in your net asset section, you should have a report that shows you which of those resources are restricted and which are without restriction. You want to make sure if you've got restricted funds that you've got resources, cash, investments that cover and allow you to fulfill those. You also want to be looking at the ending balances in your internally designated funds. So again, you have two classes with restrictions and without restrictions. Restrictions are set by donors. But now we're talking about, okay, with the funds that don't have a donor restriction, we should be earmarking some of those for emergency fund or for your cash reserves. It's a good time to rework that number. Maybe something's changed. Maybe the conditions in your environment have gotten scarier and the likelihood of needing cash when giving has decreased could be higher, or a grant is expiring. So you may need to increase your cash reserves emergency number. Next, you may have also made that balance of internally designated funds based on a percentage of your budget. So recalculate that. Or maybe it's based on a percentage of or a monthly number of debt service, and maybe you've paid off a loan, so you want to recalculate that. It's a great time to revisit that number. And then as you do set what your internally designated funds for cash reserve should be, again here, let's make sure we've got those assets set aside on the balance sheet on the asset side, an investment account. In very unusual times we're in right now as I'm recording this, which is you can get a pretty good yield, 4% ish, and you can get that and still have it highly liquid and have it even insured. So whole nother conversation there, but it's a good season to be able to get a little bit of yield on those funds that you're setting aside. The last thing I want to tell you here is that we really want to make sure that we're communicating with our stakeholders. You want to make sure you're communicating what your financial situation is, what your goals are, just really what your plans are for the upcoming year. And that includes making sure board members are well informed. You also have your staff members you need to make sure, maybe volunteer groups that you need to make sure are on the same page, and your donors. Transparency in our financial communication, it really helps to build trust and it keeps them engaged and informed. So do you have plans for your financial tasks? Well, I want to let you know that I have an effective resource that can help you with a good checklist. So you can visit my website today to get that monthly closing checklist, and it's at teresaclark.com/checklist.